Before we go, I'd like to hit on a guy that we've talked about a lot. Who's making some crazy claims. About an episode of his show that happened a couple months ago now, or was it a month ago now? Shannon Sharpe. Now, I'd like to look at his data here because I find his data really interesting. All right. 61 million people watched his interview with Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay. That's impressive. That's a really high number, especially for a YouTube channel that's got under 2 million subscribers. That's crazy.
I think it was even under 1 million before this. I think. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, though.
It's one of the numbers in here. Let me blow this up if I can. Well, actually, that did the opposite. There we go. It's getting bigger. All right. So, he says that, my bad. He's just under 3 million. And he claims that since this episode, he gained 1.4 million subscribers, which is amazing. He says 110,000 watched the premiere episode live, which is not mind-blowing. It's very good. Very good. Like, I've seen bigger on YouTube. But very, very good. He gained a bunch of IG followers, a bunch of followers on X. But that's not the interesting numbers here. The interesting numbers are these numbers I'm circling here. 320 million views across all Club Shay Shay social channels. So I want, and I'll go back to the big camera for this because I think this is something, whenever I see something like this, I need to point this out. A view on social media, in most cases, it's 3 seconds. So when you're talking about a view on YouTube, you're talking about 3 seconds. A view on Instagram, a view on X, a view on Facebook, about 3 seconds or less in some cases. So 320 million views is a nonsense number. He's speaking it as if it is something mind-blowing, when it's essentially just something passive. Any response before I go to the other number?
Well, I was concerned when I saw that IG post because the feeling I got was, be careful, this isn't flash in the pan. Now, obviously, his podcast is on the rise. It's doing extremely well. But there's something about, hey, you know what? We did so well off this one interview, rather than just kind of sitting back and saying, no, we're kicking ass overall. Like, why bring the attention back to that one interview? It's like hanging your hat on something that may be somewhat fleeting.
It no doubt it will be. I mean, look, Rogan's top interview, I believe, was something like 40 million. And I think it was Elon Musk. I mean, on YouTube, he hasn't topped that. You know? And we're talking the top dog. Mr. Beast has gotten to 100 million a couple times. But I think his top is close to 200. Is he going to get there regularly? Not a chance. Those are your tippy top. I think you make it very valid points there. I think it's vanity. And I wanted to show off some of that vanity to you.
Yes, I think he would have been better off just putting the numbers up and not pinning it to that one interview. Because what if we get to the end of this year and that still ends up being his number one
Oh,
interview?
it will be.
That's not gonna
It
look
will be.
very good.
It will be. And I think his goal is that essentially if people will just not pay attention to it at that point, they'll just look at the high point. They won't provide any analysis. Crap, this link is broken. This link isn't working. I can't get an X link working on here. Okay, I will not go there then. But yeah. So he was bragging about it with Chad Ochocinco,
Mhm.
saying that he got his check. He made 3 times what he made during his pro career off this one interview. I don't believe that.
Whoa.
I don't believe that. But that's what he
Holy
said. That was his
shit.
claim. And
Still though.
let me look up his number real quick.
See, I don't yeah, see, I don't the thing is his brand is not boastfulness either, right? So that's not really his thing to do that. He tends to be much more dignified in the things he says. It kind of reminds me of it's almost like he's turning into a child star in a way because he's in a new lane now. No, he's done
Mhm.
this. He was an athlete, then he did the broadcasting thing, kicked ass at both of those things. But now he's in a completely new it's almost like he's getting sudden fame all over again. And I don't know that you want to be bragging about those things because we don't know how he's going to maintain this. And he's not prepared for
Well,
maintaining it.
he won't. It is not just because of that. I mean, most people don't. They have their moment and they recede to the background and they go back to their mean. Their mean grows. But Peter Zion's a great example of this. If he's a geopolitical star, he had this giant balloon happen with the whole Russian invasion, right? And over the year that followed, and he's kind of receded a little. It's his base is higher because people stuck with him. They liked him. But he's not hitting that height until there's another thing that brings him back up again. Like it's not something you can't expect this level of consistency.
It's like having a number one hit, basically.
Yeah, precisely. It's exactly like that. You're not like I think of if you have created a massive hit, I think of something like Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, makes all kinds of money. So suppose if a former Infatuation junkie was a massive, massive hit album, I love the album, massive hit, but it was Jagged Little Pill.
Right. It was a failure in comparison.
And it shouldn't have been a failure.
No.
It was. I thought it was a multi-platinum seller, if I remember correctly.
We can look this up.
It just was. It just was not on the same tier as Jagged.
Well, there's almost no way for it in music. Already when you have a hit that big, for the most part, unless you're the rare people that can sustain it, you almost know it's downhill from there.
And I agree with you. I mean, I think that's exactly what happened.
And so I'm concerned with these guys is that they don't see that coming. It doesn't sound like it.
So I have Shannon's earnings for his career.
Okay.
I'll share that.
JB is about to officially call bullshit here.
So this is according to Spot Rack. Shout out to Spot Rack. He's based out of Buffalo, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
He made $22 million across his career. You chop that in half or about 60%. So he probably walked away with $12 million from his playing career. And he said he made 3 or 4 times that from this one interview.
Right. So he's saying he's made $66 million basically, or whatever, or 36, somewhere between 36 and
that's crap. He's lying. Well, Shannon, why are you lying? There's no reason to lie. You've won. There's no reason to lie. You didn't make 30 million off of this interview.
Or
It's
even more. He's maybe depending how he's counting it.
Unless you forgot what you made in the 90s and 2000s. You're lying. Stop lying.
So is this your Corey Holcomb moment where instead of Stephen A. Smith, you're capping, instead of that is Shannon Sharpe, you're capping?
Shannon Sharpe, you're capping. Shannon Sharpe is capping.
No, I don't know enough to claim. I'm not going to claim he's lying. I'll leave that on you. But
The man said 3 or 4 times what he meant as a player. I could maybe no, I don't. I can't even make that argument because it's not even 3 or 4. Maybe what he made in a year as a player, maybe. But I think even that's probably wrong.
Could he have meant that though? No.
Okay, so let's talk about an individual year. Some of these years he made, like his last year as a pro, he made $900,000. I doubt he cleared a $3 million check for that episode. I don't think so. I just don't see it.
Especially since you're saying views are just a few seconds.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Hmm.
I want to see a check. Show me a check, Shannon.
Gauntlet thrown. There you go, Shannon.
Show me a check.
JB
You can cover up your information. Show me a check.
Why would someone lie? Or is he being? Are the numbers being inflated to him by his team?
I don't think the numbers are being inflated to him. My guess is he was drinking, he was smoking. He may have misspoke.
He's feeling himself. He's excited.
Yeah. You don't put out a graphic like that if you're not feeling yourself.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to end up being a mistake. I think that graphic, if I had to bet, I think it's going to end up being a mistake. By the way, Jagged Little Pill, or I'm sorry, former Infatuation Junkie, went double platinum in the States and sold 5 million worldwide. So certainly nothing to sneeze at. Most people would kill.
That is a career album for most people.
For anyone else, just about, except for the upper people.
Yeah.